Hi. I just noticed that they wrote the note on two sides of these boxes. Look, they sent back to me, please do not send any more books to the initials of their school. We do not use them or want them. Thank you. Let me move these out of the way here. I didn't even want to tell this story because it made me sad, and then it made me mad, and then it didn't have a happy ending until yesterday. So I'll tell you briefly what happened. Those boxes were full of books that I had mailed to a school out of state, to where a relative goes to school, a middle school up in Washington State. I live in California. And I had sent boxes to the school before in an experiment of sorts to see what would it take, what's involved in, you know, sending books to kids at school. And I had a plan before of sending a particular subject matter of books, maybe, or if somebody wanted to do that on a regular basis and help add more resources to school libraries, so on and so forth, and what have you. Quoting from The Daughter of the Middle, the TV show, when she doesn't know what to say. So I bought some books used books at the library, and age appropriate for middle school kids, and I bought like 21 books, and I did that in lieu of a birthday gift for a friend. And I thought, well, let me do this. Let me spend the money on this instead of buying him a gift and saying, here, happy birthday. So I put these 21 books together, and I wrote a file, and I had pictures of the book covers and a little description underneath of all the books. And I think I realized the reason they were kicked back is because they knew what they were getting. I sent the file to the principal of the school, and also another high school, the high school in the same district. Just in case the middle school didn't want them, they could send them over there. And I did that because I couldn't find the lady's name, the teacher librarian's name, listed on the staff directory this year. And I thought, well, I wonder what happened there, because I'm sure she was listed before when I sent these other books, and none of those boxes came back. So anyway, I mailed these out. I actually mailed 2 boxes out in September for my friend's birthday. And then maybe a month later, one of them came back, which confused me, because I thought, well, why did one get there and the other one didn't? So, and it was all beat up, and styrofoam peanuts were falling out, and I just kind of sort of knew right then, well, I'm never going to use styrofoam peanuts again on plain books, because it gets in all the pages and inside the book covers, and it's just static electricity. You can't pick it up easily and throw it away. So I thought, well, let me take this home and rewrap them. So I put them in 2 smaller boxes, and I wrapped the books in plastic wrap to help protect them and to keep the styrofoam peanuts, the bits and pieces, out of the pages. And so I thought, well, that's certainly a deterrent if I was to get these boxes. So it's always good, if you're going to send something out, like a mailing or something, to always send one to yourself. I learned that when I was in business, to see what the thing looks like when it actually gets to you, so you know what your customer is also getting. So I rewrapped these in 2 smaller boxes, and then I went to the post office and mailed them out again via media rate, which is a lot cheaper than just regular rate, but still it costs money. And it doesn't matter how far away in this country, it just matters the zip code. Oh, it matters the weight of the box, and then they put the zip code down, so you may pay, I think one of these, each of these boxes may have been like $7 each. So then, a month later, they came back again. The two boxes I had sent, repackaged and sent, but the other one, the first one, I thought, well, that's got there. How did that get there? And these two didn't. So the guy at the P.O. box store, where I have a P.O. box and I do these mailings, he said, well, that's weird. He suggested we could just ship them right back since I didn't open them, so then the post office will send them back, assuming that some part of the address might be wrong. So we took off the lady's name, and I didn't understand that because right below it said school library. So I thought, well, why didn't you keep it? So he took off the lady's name and he scratched off return to sender, and they shipped them again. Well, then a month later, all 3 boxes came back. And the 2 boxes that I had repackaged and resent had a note scribbled, and I just noticed now the note they scribbled on both sides of each box, so they wrote it like 4 times. Please do not send any more books to the initials of our school. We do not use them or want them. Thank you. Now, they could have stopped right after we do not use them. They didn't have to say or want them, which I took kind of personally, and I was a little sad. I was discouraged. I thought, well, I've done something wrong, and I couldn't help but feel a little disheartened, a little sad. So anyway, long story short, I took the boxes and I thought, well, now what am I going to do? I'm going to have to find somebody else to give them to or just keep them. So that day I happened to go to the library and I was trying to finish a book real fast because I wanted to give it back to a friend so I could write a book review and put it online. Anyway, so I did that, but at the end of, I'm reading this book in the library, and there's this little kid who I had seen earlier come in with his dad with a big smile on his face. And so 1 or 2 or 3 hours later, he comes running over and he's standing right next to my table and he's going, oh, no, this isn't good, this isn't good. And I thought, well, what is happening here? What is going on with this little kid? I was kind of dazed and confused because I was just so engrossed in reading for so many hours, and I know enough when I do that not to drive heavy machinery or drive my car anywhere. I have to take a break and get my refocus and get my senses back. But anyway, he was standing right there, and I thought he was hurt at first because he was going like this, but he wasn't rubbing his arms, and he wasn't self-aware, or wasn't being objective about whatever was happening to him, and I thought he was hurt. But then he ran off around the book stack and was going over there, and I heard him doing the same thing. Oh no, this isn't good, this isn't. So I asked the gentleman that was standing right in front of me in line for the information desk, I said, so what's going on? What happened? And the guy said, oh, he lost his mom. Well, that was sad, so that made me a little more sad because I'm already sad from these books coming back, and even more sad because I didn't do anything immediately to help him. I couldn't understand what was going on, but I should have gotten up from the table and I should have gone over, buddy, what's going on? What's happening? Can I help? What's the matter? Are you hurt? And there were other people standing around, but I was like right there looking at him. And so I feel bad because I didn't do anything quick enough. But happy ending. Finally, his dad shows up out of the stacks over there, and the little boy runs over. I say little, but he was like either 8 or 9 or 10, so it wasn't so little. So this young man, he ran over to his dad, and he hugged him around the waist, and he said, I didn't know where you were. I didn't know where you were. So I thought, well, okay. At least he knew at that point that what he you know, he had lost his dad, and he had the cognizance to realize at the end of it that he was completely distressed, very distressed. And it made me feel so bad for the lack of my involvement when somebody was in pain, very close to where I was sitting. But in my defense, I just was so immersed in my book, and I had been reading for like 3 hours straight, and I really didn't know. I was trying to figure it out, in other words. By the time I figured it out, it kind of ended. So, Friday, that was Friday. I got these boxes. I came home. I brought them. I started I didn't want to unpack them. I went online to try to find another place to donate. I found online, I don't know if it's nationwide, book donation website. So I thought, well, let's take care of this today. I want to move these books. So I drove a very long way to the nearest book bin, and I had 3 on my list, the closest ones that near me. Otherwise, I had to go way into Los Angeles to find other ones, and that was just too much driving on that day. So I went to the one around a shopping center, which is huge, like a small town, and I thought, now how am I going to find a little bin, a little blue bin? Well, I did very quickly, because I figured it was on the outskirts, and it was next to another donation bin for clothes and shoes and toys. No mention of books. But right next to it was the blue bin, and I forget the name of it. I'll put it in my video here. And nothing against them. I mean, it's a good program because it indicated that they were making a donation. I think you can pick who you want to donate your books and CDs and DVDs and that kind of thing to. And I just happened to notice it was a lady who was raising money for breast cancer. And I thought, well, this is good because we lost a friend many years ago to breast cancer. Shout out to Linda, wherever you are, rest in peace. But I couldn't put my books in there because it was full to overflowing, so I thought, okay, well, let's go to the second address. Couldn't find a book bin. Located there, and I asked. There was a young kid who was collecting shopping carts at the Anchor grocery store there at that shopping center, and I said, excuse me, but do you know if there's a book bin in the area? It said it's supposed to be here, Granary Square. And Zach said, no, I haven't seen any, but if you go way down in the corner where there's some more shops, you might find something there. So I walked way over there, and sure enough, there was another bin for clothes and shoes and toys, but no book. So I walked all the way around the back, past a police car parked there. I didn't know what he was doing, and I wasn't doing anything wrong, so I just kept going. I came around the front again. I drove around again, nothing there. So thanks to Zach for being so helpful. At least he helped me feel like I wasn't on a lost mission. It kind of helped to talk to somebody else. And come to find out, he is a history buff, and he has a trunk full of books in his car that he's trying to donate, and some he hasn't read, some he has read more than once. And so I said, hey, I didn't ask, and I'm sorry I didn't ask you, Zach, what kind of history you like, because I'm a history buff too. I like Victorian England, Edwardian England, Civil War, and right now the War of 1812, because I'm trying to find out where my great-great-grandfather lived during the, he was born in 1790, lived during that time, and I'm stuck and I can't figure that out. But anyway, so I put a little shout out in here for Zach. So on to the third location, the third address, and again, I couldn't find, there was no bin. One big bright red bin for everything else but books I found, but no blue bin. So on their bin it says, please notify us if the bin's full and you can't find, well, please, if the bin is full, and we'll come and get it. So I did that for my community service. But so I found a local school online, a local middle school, a couple of districts I researched, and one said if you give any books, they have to fall into our very strict parameters for donations, and they may not qualify. I didn't know what that meant. And then I found another one, and lo and behold, I left a message, a voice message and an email, and she called me back the next day and said, yes, we do take book donations. Thank you very much. And as a matter of fact, what books that don't qualify as age appropriate or are strong enough to be checked out again by the kids, I guess they determine if, you know, if the book is constructively falling apart or whatever, they're not gonna put it in the library. But they also have a program in March where they give free books to the kids, and I thought, oh, what a great program. So now I'm kind of sort of on a new mission. I want to see how many books I can find. I might tell the local libraries about, hey, all these books you're selling, why don't you just donate them to the school and take a tax write-off? So I've got, like, what is it, January, February. I've got 1 month here to do that. So I'm taking my books over there, and I know they'll go to a good home. And I wanted to wait until I made this video so that if they should see me online, they will know that I really appreciate them having a book donation program. Thank you very much. And that's it. So I guess the moral of this story and the message I just wanted to share is, don't get discouraged if somebody kicks back something you're giving. I mean, figure out why and try to fix it, and keep researching and go around and find another way to follow the rules and get these books into the hands of kids, because we need to raise our rank in education. I think California is on the bottom of that list, and I know Washington State was like at 16, and the USA is maybe 7th internationally, and this is not good. So we need to get more books in the hands of more kids, and that's how I feel about that. Okay, thank you for listening. So keep it clean and keep it green. Donate books and read a book. Okay, bye. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.